In the vast world of Hunter x Hunter, being a hunter is much more than a title. It's a way of life reserved for the strongest and most skilled. Among countless incredible individuals, a few hunters stand out due to the sheer level of their abilities, whether it's Netero with his wisdom, Meruem with his raw power, or even the latent potential of Gon Freecss. In this video, we'll be diving into the ranking of the 10 most powerful hunters in the Hunter x Hunter universe, exploring their abilities, their achievements, and what makes each of them hold their place among the world's best. This is definitely a controversial topic, but I'll do my best to rank them as impartially as possible. If today's topic has piqued your curiosity, let me tell you, the channel is packed with videos about the Hunter x Hunter universe. I've organized them all into an exclusive playlist just for you, with topics just as fascinating as this one. After this, you can head over to the channel's homepage and check out all the other videos with just one click. There's still so much content I want to bring to you, so don't forget to double check your subscription and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos. We're so close to hitting our goal of 1,000 subscribers to monetize the channel. Now, let's begin our hunt. Ranking premises. Making a strength ranking in any anime is always controversial, especially in Hunter x Hunter, because battles in this series are far more complex than just raw power. There are countless variables that can influence the outcome of a fight. A weaker character can defeat a stronger one if their ability counters the others. Let's remember the York New arc, where the Phantom Troop discussed Hisoka's bungee gum and concluded that Nobunaga's Hatsu wouldn't work well against it. This doesn't necessarily mean Nobunaga is weaker, it just means his technique is not advantageous in a fight against Hisoka. So my idea here is to create a ranking based purely on overall power. Another important point is that I won't include characters who are likely among the strongest but haven't shown their abilities yet, haven't been involved in any fights, or haven't used Nen so far, such as Beyond, Gon Freecss, Periston, Ziggy Zoldyck, and most of the Zodiacs. It's challenging to rank characters without any battle feats, so I'll only include those who have used Nen or participated in a fight. Another character whose absence from this list might surprise you is the fourth prince of Kakin, Tseriednich. He has an incredibly powerful Hatsu, 2 Nen beasts, and is a Nen prodigy. However, we haven't seen him fight yet, and the character himself mentioned in a recent manga chapter that he hasn't even started his combat training. In other words, he's not a fighter just yet. With those rules established, let's dive into the list. 10th, Silva Zoldyck. Silva is a professional assassin and the current head of the Zoldyck family. Like many members of his family, he possesses extreme resistance to poisons and superhuman physical abilities, including strength, speed, and precise control over his body. His skin is so resilient that it cannot be pierced by ordinary blades. According to Killua, Silva is capable of ripping out a person's heart without spilling a single drop of blood. Just a side note. When I first heard him say this at the ripe age of 11, I was absolutely blown away. In the past, Silva managed to kill a member of the Phantom Troop and even fought Crawlo in a battle that seemingly ended without a clear winner, a fact that many seem to forget. However, we know the fight happened because Silva was familiar with Crawlo's Hatsu and was able to recognize how it had evolved when they fought again. Later, during the Chimera Ant arc, Silva killed Cheetu with a single blow. It's important to note that Cheetu had previously given both Morel and Knuckle a hard time, but was easily defeated by Silva. Even though it was a sneak attack, Zeno remarked that even if Cheetu had seen it coming, it wouldn't have made any difference. Silva is a Nen user of the emission type and has been classified as a genius in mastering this style during Togashi's portrayal of Nen abilities. The only time we've seen him actively use Nen was during his fight against Crawlo in the York New arc. In that battle, he conjured 2 massive aura spheres, one in each hand, intending to kill Crawlo. However, at the last second, Silva redirected his attack after Illumi informed him that their contractors had already been killed. We still don't know the full extent of Silva's power, but considering his position as the leader of the Zoldicks and his track record of feats, he earns the 10th spot on this list. 9th Crawlo, Lucilfer Crawlo is the founder, leader, and member 0 of the Phantom Troop. He is an exceptional fighter, revered as the strongest by many troop members, and is incredibly intelligent and strategic in battle. Crawlo managed to fight both Silva and Zeno simultaneously, 2 highly skilled assassins, without leaving openings for Silva to exploit, although he didn't deal any significant damage to either of them. Additionally, he fought and completely dominated Hisoka in a battle where he was fully prepared. In the troop's arm wrestling ranking, Crawlo placed 7th. While this might seem underwhelming at first glance, it's an impressive result considering that specialists are generally weaker in enhancement-based abilities. Despite this, Crawlo is strong enough to pierce a skull with a regular pen. Regarding Nen, Crawlo is a specialist hailed as a genius in his category, as seen in Togashi's depiction of Nen user. His talent is considered prodigious, not only for his age, range, but even among masters of Nen. His Zetsu is said to be flawless, enabling him to approach an opponent stealthily and eliminate them without giving off any murderous intent. His Hatsu allows him to steal other Nen users' abilities and use them as his own through a conjured book known as the Bandit's Secret, which requires fulfilling 4 specific conditions for each theft. Chrollo has displayed numerous stolen abilities, demonstrating that he possesses an extensive arsenal, making him adaptable to nearly any battle scenario. I rank him higher than Silva for narrative reasons. While they have clashed in the past in a one-on-one battle, the outcome of that fight remains unknown. Additionally, Silva later acknowledged that Chrollo had grown even stronger. Moreover, Chrollo's ability to hold his own against both Silva and Zeno simultaneously is a feat that places him ahead of Silva, who still lacks comparable achievements. That said, nothing prevents the head of the Zoldicks from proving superior as the story progresses. For now, however, Chrollo takes the 9th spot. 8th, Xeno Zoldyck. Xeno Zoldyck is a professional assassin and a highly skilled Nen user, classified by Togashi as having supreme mastery in his innate category, emission. With a sharp intellect and vast experience, Xeno is incredibly analytical in combat, capable of predicting the actions of talented fighters like Chrollo and countering them perfectly in an instant. As an emission-type Nen user, his Hatsu allows him to transmute his aura into dragon form, which he uses in various ways. One example is the Dragon Lance, where he launches a transmuted dragon and controls it with his hands. Another is the famous Dragon Dive, where Xeno transforms a massive dragon into hundreds of smaller dragons capable of destroying an entire palace. Xeno also demonstrates exceptional theoretical knowledge of Nen, instantly deducing that Chrollo was a specialist and that he had 4 or 5 conditions to steal abilities from others. Additionally, Xeno possesses one of the most impressive Ians in the series, with a natural range of 100 meters, which he claims he can easily extend to 300 meters. I place him above Chrollo and Silva for 2 reasons. First, his experience. As a professional assassin for so long, Xeno has acquired vast combat knowledge, enabling him to adapt to any scenario. The second reason is Togashi's classification, which highlights him as having supreme mastery in his category, something Silva and Chrollo have not achieved. During his fight with Chrollo, Xeno stated that, in a direct confrontation, he would most likely win against the Phantom Troop leader. However, he also acknowledged that if Chrollo fought with the intent to kill, the outcome might be different. This statement is frequently cited when discussing Xeno and Chrollo's clash, but it's often misquoted or rephrased inaccurately from memory. To clarify, Xeno said that in a direct fight, he would win against Chrollo with near certainty, about 8 or 9 out of 10 times, meaning a victory was almost assured. However, if Chrollo fought with the intent to kill, Xeno admitted the outcome would no longer be guaranteed. This doesn't mean Xeno conceded defeat to Chrollo, it simply leaves the result of such a fight open-ended. It's possible Chrollo could prove superior in the future, but for now, Xeno takes the 8th spot. 7th, Gon Freecss. Here's where things get controversial, and I can already hear someone in the comments claiming they've stopped watching the video, though we all know you haven't stopped and are still watching. Don't worry, I'll explain Ging's placement on this list. Ging is one of the most hyped characters in the entire series, and I'd say this hype is well deserved. Netero considered him one of the top 5 Nen users in the world, and he's also one of the most intelligent characters in the series. While we haven't seen his Hatsu yet, the little we've seen of his Nen usage is already impressive. One unique talent, demonstrated only by Ging so far, is his ability to replicate Nen techniques used against him, as he did with Leorio's remote punch. It's worth noting that this isn't part of his Hatsu, but rather a natural talent. Additionally, Ging is capable of creating abilities based on deductions about how a specific Nen user constructed their Hatsu, as seen when he created the ultrasound ability. All the hype surrounding Ging is understandable, but it's challenging to rank him higher, given that we've only seen a fraction of his full potential. I firmly believe that once Ging reveals his true power, he'll climb higher in the ranking. However, for now, I'm keeping him in this position, as the characters ahead of him have demonstrated far more significant feats. 6th, Poof. Ging fans might start fuming at this placement, but as I mentioned earlier, Ging still lacks significant feats to definitively claim he could defeat a royal guard in a direct battle. Many forget just how powerful the royal guards were, especially Poof, who is often underestimated. It's worth noting that Colt believed Poof was so strong that he might even be able to defeat Netero, and Colt wasn't someone to make such claims lightly. Let's talk a bit about his physical attributes. Like the other royal guards, Poof possesses superhuman strength, endurance, and durability. He managed to survive a direct direct blow from Meruem's tail, escaping with just a bruise, a remarkable feat considering Meruem could rip off Netero's limbs with a single strike. Additionally, Poof endured the extreme scorching heat of a nuclear explosion mere minutes after detonation to rescue the king. While his physical traits are impressive, Poof truly shines in his Nen abilities, his ability to fly at high speeds, and his skill in manipulation. His Hatsu offers numerous variations. He can control hundreds of people simultaneously using his scales, split his body into multiple smaller versions of himself, even altering his appearance and voice to impersonate others, and grant abilities to others by encasing them in a cocoon, as he did with Palm and Liol. Many underestimate Poof because Killua, using his Godspeed ability, managed to react and counterattack Poof's strike. However, it's important to note that at this point, Poof had divided himself and had been absorbed by Meruem, significantly weakening him. For instance, Morel was completely outmatched against Poof and couldn't do anything to stop him. Poof ultimately met his end due to the toxicity of the explosion from Netero's bomb after inhaling its particles. Taking all of this into account, Poof claims the 6th spot. 5th, Youpi. Unlike Poof, Youpi has demonstrated far more feats in combat, making him the most active royal guard during the battle at the palace. Youpi is an absolute powerhouse with all the hallmark superhuman traits. Not a single character managed to even scratch him during the confrontation. Like Poof, Youpi only died because he inhaled the toxic gas from Netero's bomb. Youpi is a transmuter, capable of freely altering the anatomy of his body. On top of that, he can unleash extremely powerful explosions when under stress. The Royal Guard also possesses an enormous reserve of aura. Knuckle estimated that Youpi had at least 10 times the amount of aura as Morel. I place Youpi above Poof due to his more extensive combat feats, earning the hot-headed brute the 5th spot on this list. 4th, P2. Here's where we encounter a bit of debate, as some claim Youpi has more feats and is thus stronger than P2. I respectfully disagree. I believe P2 is the strongest of the royal guards. Let's break down her accomplishments. P2 fought and killed Kite early in her life, at a time when she still didn't fully master Nen or even possess a Hatsu. She survived a strike from Meruem's tail, earning praise from the king, who seemingly attacked with the intent to kill. While she couldn't react to Netero's strike during the invasion, she emerged from it without appearing injured. Killua and Colt both stated that not even Morel, Knov, or even Netero himself could defeat P2. Once again, it's worth noting that Colt knew firsthand the strength of the royal guards. P2's aura was so terrifying that Killua remarked Hisoka's and Illumi's auras were nowhere near its level. Knov, after coming into contact with P2's N, was so shaken he turned white-haired and withdrew from the mission entirely out of fear. Her physical attributes are superhuman, like the other royal guards, and her Nen category is specialist. P2's Hatsu includes several variations. She can heal herself and others from severe injuries, including broken limbs, manipulate people like puppets, and create a monstrous ballerina controlled by strings attached to her fingers, functioning as a combat puppet. This combat-oriented ability requires just 0.1 seconds to activate offensively once manifested. Considering all these impressive feats, I rank P2 above Youpi and Poof, earning her the 4th spot. 3rd, Isaac Netero. First, let me clarify that the Netero ranked here is the older version we've seen in the story, not his prime self. While many believe Netero wouldn't defeat the royal guards, I disagree. This belief often stems from Netero's attack on P2, which seemingly caused no damage. However, it's crucial to remember that Netero's intent during that attack was simply to repel the royal guard, as his focus was entirely on Meruem. This is further evidenced by the fact that Netero hired Zeno specifically to separate the guards from the king. The royal guard shouldn't be compared to Meruem. The king is on an entirely different level in every way. I firmly believe the guards wouldn't be able to react to Netero's attacks, especially considering Meruem himself initially struggled to do so. Furthermore, Netero's Bodhisattva strikes, the 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva, would likely cause damage to the guards, albeit gradually, and if they didn't deal significant damage, I believe Zero Hand would be enough to kill any of the guards, given that it managed to injure Meruem, who is far more durable than any of the royal guards. Netero is an absolute beast. His Hatsu is a perfect blend of several Nen categories simultaneously, and Togashi classified him as having supreme mastery of his innate category. For this reason, I believe Netero would defeat any of the royal guards in a one-on-one confrontation, and thus, he claims the 3rd spot. Second, Adult Gon. Many might disagree, but I believe Adult Gon would defeat Old Netero in a one-on-one battle. While we haven't seen much of this form, what little we did see was nothing short of astonishing. It represents the pinnacle of enhancement Nen we've witnessed in the series. This version of Gon utterly obliterated P2, treating her like a side character. The Royal Guard couldn't do a thing against him and was completely outmatched in speed, strength, and power. Despite her remarkable durability, which I've previously highlighted, P2 seemed like jelly in Gon's hands. She only managed to rip off his arm due to a moment of distraction and the advantage of post-mortem Nen. I believe Netero's only edge against adult Gon would be his absurd speed. However, this version of Gon is also incredibly fast, easily blitzing P2 in the same way Netero overwhelmed his opponent. That said, adult Gon surpasses Netero in every other attribute. It's worth mentioning that this form of Gon was also classified as having supreme mastery of enhancement Nen. For these reasons, I believe adult Gon would overcome old Netero and earn the silver medal, securing second place on this list. First, Meruem. The top spot is, without a doubt, indisputable. It's likely that we'll only see someone stronger than Meruem when we venture into the Dark Continent. I've previously made a video theorizing about a fight between Meruem and adult Gon, where I mentioned that I could see adult Gon giving Meruem a tough time before the bomb. However, against his post-bomb version, there's no argument. The Chimera King is leagues above everyone else. Meruem boasts the most powerful physical attributes in the series, with unmatched durability and resilience, coupled with an unprecedented amount of aura. Togashi classified him as a specialist with supreme mastery of Nen, even though he didn't develop a specific Hatsu. Not even Netero's most powerful attack could deal significant damage to pre-bomb Meruem, and his post-bomb version absorbed 2 of the Royal Guards who also made this list. No character in the series has feats sufficient to pose a threat to post-bomb Meruem. He effortlessly obliterates anyone who stands against him. I tried to be as fair as possible because, as you all know, I have a legacy to uphold. There's no one more unbiased and truthful than me. Of course, I'm not claiming to hold the ultimate truth, but fortunately, I've never told a single lie in my entire life. As I mentioned throughout the video, this list will likely change as the series progresses. Some characters without many feats may climb higher, while others may drop. Also, Hunter x Hunter is like a game of chess. There are so many variables in a fight, and depending on the circumstances, a weaker character could end up defeating a stronger one. If you've made it to the end, enjoyed the video, and haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to drop a like, share your own rankings in the comments, and hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on. There's still so much Hunter x Hunter content I want to bring to you all. See you in the next video!